Hello, my friends. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday today, and it's Jen Buck with By the Shore Stamping. I just wanted to come in today again with another new video. I'm going to try to get back to my routine of creating a new video every Tuesday. And today I wanted to feature a stamp set, or a bundle, I should say, that is actually carrying over to the new catalog. So I'm kind of in this point where I want to play with new toys, but I also don't want to sneak peek too many new things too early. So I figured I would share some of the stuff that I've bought that I haven't really had a chance to play with and that I love. So this bundle makes beautiful cards, and I'm super excited to play with it again. It's been a really long time, but I love that it's a little bit different. So this one has a stamp set, obviously, and then it also has dies that coordinate. And then what's unique with this one, so there's the dies, is that it also has some masks, so stenciling masks. So for this project, I'm going to use the masks. I will say it's going to be a little bit tricky for me because it's got this beautiful stamp set. Look how big that stamp is. So I'm using the largest block we have. But when I was pulling mine off, you have to be careful. I pulled it off by here and I actually ripped the part of the stamp off. So now when I try and layer my masks, it doesn't always layer up right. I think I fixed it, but you'll see. Once I get to the masking, that may be a problem, but I can still fix it. So let's go ahead and do our stamping first. So we're going to ink this up with the Memento Black. And I'm going to just go ahead and ink that up. So we're just using Memento. I like to use the nice stark contrast of the black with the bright colors, and I'll tell you which colors I'm using in a second. So let's just get that nice and inked. And then we're just going to stamp that on the cardstock, and it is going to kind of go off a little bit, which is fine. This piece of paper, you could kind of stamp it on a full sheet and then cut it down if you wanted. That's actually what I did originally, but this time I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to just stamp that so I get a nice, well, I probably should have put something underneath me, but it'll be fine. It will cover the inking, the masking will cover like that little light part right there. But I should have used, I wasn't even thinking, I was talking, like a Stampin' mat or something underneath it, and that would have given me a bit better impression. So learn from my mistakes. So what's cool about these masks is you've got 3 for the flowers and then 2 for the leaves, and they're numbered. So I'm going to put my glasses on. So at the top, you'll see, you might not be able to see it on the camera, but it says 1, 2, this is number 3, then you've got number 4 and number 5. So the 4 and 5 are your leaves, and the rest is your flowers. And what it does is it just details, so it gets progressively more detailed with each color. So I'm going to start with my lightest color. I'm actually using pinks and purples today, which is not normally my go-to, but I do love these colors. So we've got Bubble Bath, Petunia Pop, and then our darkest is Berry Burst. So we're going to start with the Bubble Bath. Now, if you were doing this without a broken stamp, because mine is broken, you would want to, and I might have started this upside down, did I? Yeah, I think I did. You would want to kind of tape this down, like with washi tape or something that's not permanent, and then you're going to go ahead and line this up over your flowers. So I did do a much better job of getting it there, but my flowers are a little off still up here. I might just let it run though, because they're not that far off. So rather than having to do it again. So that means now I can go ahead and take a pen and I can mark right here. So it's got that little divot in the mask so that now I know where to line up my masks for future masking. So I'm going to just take a little bit of washi. Do I have some that's... oh, actually, I think I have some over here. Yeah, let's use this because it's already here. So you want something that will be easily removable when you're done. So I'm just going to kind of tack this down. And then we'll start with the, again, the lightest color. So you want to start with the lightest color first, and then we're going to blend with that light color. So I'm just using one blending brush for all three pink colors. So I'm starting with the lightest, which is right here off the side. We're going to tap that off, and we're just going to go over kind of a light wash. I'm not doing a lot, kind of a light hand. So that's all I need to do for that one, right? So then we're going to take this, put that out of our way so we don't have any mistakes. We'll simply take this off, right? And now we'll switch to number 2. So I'm just going to use the same washi. This is number 2. I'm going to get it lined up so it's lined up with that little divot that I made with my pen right up here. All right, so I'm getting that lined up. And if it's not exactly where you need it to be, you can, I'm just kind of looking at my flower too, to make sure it is kind of lining up with the flowers too. There we go. I find that's better. It is still kind of lined up where I was as well. So now we're going to take the darker color, which is my Petunia Pop. We're going to ink that up. I just blot it off so you don't get that big blob. And then you're just going to go over those flowers again. And this is just adding detail as you go. So it's just kind of layering in the color. All right, so now you can see these are starting to come alive. They're looking very realistic now. We're gonna go for number 3. And again, I'm kind of lining it up with the flower and my little spot there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one more layer. Okay, and we're gonna switch to the darkest color, which is the Berry Burst. Again, I'm just using the same blending brush. So I usually have a blending brush for each color. So I have like a green, I have a pink, I have, you know, purple, brown. So I just reuse them. Like, you don't have to worry about switching out for every color. So I'm getting this nice and dark here. And if they're not exactly where they're supposed to be, it's gonna be totally fine. So don't stress about it not being perfectly lined up. As you can see, it's pretty forgiving. So you can see those flowers are really coming to life now. All right, so next we're gonna do leaves. So you can line that up again. It's gonna kind of put you right in the right spot. And I'm using Lemon Lime Twist and Granny Apple Green for this layer. So I'm gonna switch to my green blending brush, not my pink. So I'm gonna put that aside. And then my dog is outside my door because I locked her out. If you can hear that, I don't know. She just was throwing her toy at the door. All right, so I'm gonna just blot off again, and we're gonna just do some green layer all over. And you really don't need to put a lot of ink on there. It goes through really nice. Okay, so there's my base green. This was the Lemon Lime Twist, so it's a little bit lighter. Now we're just gonna take our final mask. Now I know this seems like very involved and laborious, but imagine if you had to color this, right? That would take forever. So this is actually a really speedy way to get some magnificent color and shading without having to actually color and shade, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and tape that down. This time we're using Granny Apple Green. Gonna ink it up, blot it off so you don't get that big blob on your project, and then just add in that detail color. So I'm just going over all those leaves again, and it's covering anything that you wouldn't want to have the darkness, so like it's giving that shading. Each mask is progressively smaller in the open windows, so you're getting to see that really pretty color and shading. See how pretty that is? Isn't that beautiful? So now, that was really quick, right? So now let's just put it together as a little card. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape this down to a piece of bubble bath cardstock. And I just made it just a tiny bit, like 1/8 of an inch bigger than this panel, the white panel. Okay, so there's that. Now I have a piece, it's a Berry Burst base. Berry Burst base. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and score that at 4 1/4. And that's gonna give my card base. And then I also took a piece of Berry Burst and ran it through with the, I forget what this one's called. It's like the painted look embossing folder. And I'm just going to attach that to the front of the card. When you're putting seal on textured paper, the trick is to go really light with your hand. If you push too hard, you're going to pull up the cardstock. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. Okay, and then I do have some Petunia Pop, which is one of the colors here. I have Petunia Pop ribbon, so I'm just going to cut a piece of that, and we'll tie a little bow around the bottom of this panel. Actually, I think I did it this way. And then I'm going to just tie it so it's kind of off to the side here, but this part doesn't really matter. You can just tie it wherever you have enough ribbon to make the bow, and then we can move the bow after the fact. All right. Maybe. Didn't really give myself a whole lot of space for this, but we'll make it happen. There we go. You can see I was close. There we go. And I'm just gonna floof it a little bit. Okay. Like this. All right. Shrink that a little bit. Try and get a little tail here. It's a little small, but it'll work. There we go. So now I'm just gonna kind of trim off the excess on this one. And I'm gonna trim this just so it's not all frayed. Whoops. There we go. Okay, and now I can kind of position this where I want it, which I actually want it down a little bit more and kind of over to the side. And then I'm going to attach it to the card base with some dimensionals, which I have over here. I'll attach that. So as I mentioned at the beginning, the new catalog is coming out in just a couple of weeks. So if you're not already on my email list, you may want to jump on that, because for the week leading up to the new catalog release on May 6th, I will be sending an email with a new video featuring new product every day. So from April 30th through May 6th, you'll get a new video every day featuring some new goodies. So if you like to see a sneak peek of what's coming before it actually launches, definitely jump on my email list. It's in the description below of this video. And then you can get videos delivered to your email inbox for the whole week. And if you ordered a catalog from me, that should be headed to your doorstep before the end of the month. I ship them straight from Stampin' Up, so it's not coming from me, it's coming from Stampin' Up, but they usually ship them right at the end of the month, so usually within the last week before the catalog you should have it. Alright, so now I'm just stamping a little sentiment. I'm going to use my scissors to do a little banner end. Whoops. This is a little frayed, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that up. And then I'll snip the center and go corner to center, corner to center. Okay, and then I'm going to lay this on top here, but I'm going to use these edge pieces of my dimensionals so that I can kind of straddle that ribbon. So I find these little skinny edge ones are really helpful for that. So I'm just going to take a couple of these. And I'm just putting them right on the edge of the banner. And that way the ribbon's going to kind of go right through the middle there, and it won't be so bumpy because I'm going to layer it right over the ribbon. So let's move that to the side. We're going to stick this right up against the edge of the white paper and then kind of position that like so. This is still really frayed, so I'm gonna just trim that carefully so it's not quite so frayed. All right, there we go. And then last thing to do is just to add a little bit of bling. So I have the antique pearls from the Storybook collection in the spring catalog, and I'm going to just go ahead and take some of these with my take your pick tool and plop these down. Boop. And we'll do one down here. And there you go. Quick and easy card, really beautiful. And just a lot of like variation in the color and super fast and easy to do. I feel like you could even mass produce these. I know it's a little bit laborious, but those masks make it really fast and easy. So there you have it. That is my video for you this week. I hope you like it. If you like this layers of beauty dies and stamp set, let me know. Maybe we'll do some more projects with this one. I actually might do this as a class at some point, like a virtual class or something. So let me know if you would be interested in seeing some more projects with this one. Otherwise, I will see you soon. Make sure you get on that email list so you'll get my free videos every day for the week leading up to the new catalog, which launches on May 6, 2025. And I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, go ahead and click the like button. And if you really want to make my day, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.